Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to quickly go over how to model a closed book and also go over an efficient method to UVing this. So I'm going to start off with a cube. I'm going to go ahead and start scaling it to the proportions I want, something like that. And then when it comes to modeling, it's going to be super simple. Just have to grab these three faces like so. I'm going to do an extrude, change the offset, like 0.1. Gonna hit G to repeat the command again, and then change the thickness to, let's say, also negative 0.1. So very quickly, you can see I now have that overall shape. Going to go ahead and go into the side view, and what I want to do is add a little bit of more definition to the spine. So I'm going to just go and use the multi-cut tool. I think I'll draw 3 edges, kind of like so. And then what I'm going to do is grab this point at the top and bottom, just kind of scale that in. Then I can reposition these just a little bit until I have something that I like. So now when I look at it, it just adds that little bit more detail. So you can see it just like so. And then to finish this off, I'm going to go ahead and do an insert edge loop tool. Right now I already have this set to 3 edge loops. So I'll just click right there. And I'm doing this so that I can add this slight curve. So something like that. Now when I look at it, there we go. I have a book. Now the more important thing that I think comes from this is how you UV it. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this workspace view, going to change it to UV editing. And to UV, I'm just going to click create camera. Camera base is just to get me UVs. And now what I want to do is I'm going to separate the outer hardcover from the paper that's on the inside. So I'm selecting these edges all along the paper like so. And now when I cut this, so now I have 2 separate shells. I can grab this paper. I'm just going to do an unfold really quick, and you'll notice the paper is just this sort of straight set of UVs. And if I try to unfold this, it's going to give me a weird shape, and that is because I need to also cut these edges right here. If I zoom in, you can see these are the edges I'm referring to. So there's actually going to be 4 of them. And what I can do, I can actually double click this edge. Notice how it's grabbing the edges on the paper as well. Those I don't need to cut, so I'm just going to deselect those edges, hit cut. And now when I unfold this, this is more of the shape that I want. I'm just going to rotate this, and I'm going to do a straighten UV just so it's perfectly straight. And I'll do the same thing right here. Just going to straighten this. So if I quickly do a modify layout UV, this is what I have for my one book. Now, what I want to do to make this more optimized when it comes to texturing is instead of having an entire page for just a single book, I can actually take advantage of this model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this 5 more times. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that leaves me with 6. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the UVs of just the hardcover. I'm going to do a modify layout. And then I'm going to grab the UVs of the paper. In this case, I'm just going to leave them overlapping because I don't really care about having some variation in that. But what I can do here is use a single texture page and actually have 6 unique books using the same exact model. Now, the reason why I want these UVs laid out like so. So if we take a look at this image, and this is how a book is designed in real life. Notice how you have the front cover, the spine, and the back cover, and it's all one material. So looking at these UVs, this is the same exact layout. All right. Now, when it comes to texturing, I'm going to go ahead and just quickly kind of explain this in Photoshop. So in order to get these UVs into Photoshop, what I'm going to do is with the geometry selected, come up here to Image, UV Snapshot, bring this over like so. I'm going to go ahead and copy this path that I already have. And I'm just going to call this book_UVs.jpg. I'm going to go ahead and export this as 4096 to apply and close. And I already have Photoshop open right here. I'm just going to drag and drop this image that just exported. Here are my UVs. And something that I like to do whenever I do something like this in Photoshop is I'm going to come up here and I want to select the magic wand tool. And with the book UVs selected, if I just click on essentially a space without any UVs, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in right here a little bit. So notice what it did is it selected this space outside of the UVs, but it is right on the line. So what I'm going to do is do a select, modify, and contract, and I'll just contract it by 5 pixels. There we go. And I'm going to create a brand new layer. I can use the shortcut Shift F5, which is fill. And I'm going to fill this with black. And I'm going to zoom out just so you can see what's happening. Notice when I turn off these book UVs, all it did was it filled this empty space with black. So I'm going to go ahead and call this UV border. Then I'm going to lock this. And the reason why I'm doing this is it gives me a really easy selection. So notice with this layer selected, I can just click right here, gives me this marquee. I can create a brand new layer, hit Shift F5. Now I can go ahead and pick a color. So let's go with red. I can select UV border again, click right here with this color layer selected, Shift F5. Okay. And I just need to do this for the 6 total books. Now, if you happen to have some designs of a real book, then you could do the same exact thing instead of using solid colors. And the very last one, the paper, I'm just going to go ahead and leave as white. Going to do File, Save a Copy on your computer. Go ahead and do a PNG, and I'm just going to call this book underscore base color. And I'll just bring this back into Maya. I'm just going to make a Lambert, this just for testing purposes. Plug this in like so. Then with the 6 books selected, assign the material, go back to general and turn on UVs. And just like that, I have my 6 books with 6 different colors, and it's all using the same material.